The Neurocast from Truthsayers.
Simon Stapleton talks with Paul Anderson Walsh about how bias can pervade the culture of an organisation.
Really keen to get your views and understand what you think of bias and how it pervades culture and how people respond to different aspects of culture and modify their behaviours accordingly.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Simon. I think that the bias is something that is with us, is ever present with us. And I think we all have to recognize the fact that each and every one of us comes preloaded with bias. And I think the issue is that the reality for us is it's not, do you have bias? That's not really the question. The question is, are you sufficiently self-aware that you're in touch with the fact that you have bias? And are you sufficiently conscious that you are conscious, even to the point of your unconscious, that the biases are impacting the way you behave? And many of those biases may in fact be caught or inherited or the result of you breathing in the corporate air, the culture of your organization. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, yeah. And that kind of the zeitgeist of a place does pervade, and people make the choice to behave one way which may be in conflict with the way they would naturally behave if they were to behave authentically. And that's got to happen, you know, it's got to happen in every workplace. Probably everybody does it to different degrees. Do you think people moderate their behavior to fit with those cultural norms? I mean, they obviously must do. That's how a culture becomes normal in the first place. But I'm just wondering, what process do people go through? And how much conflict do you think they really sense when they're making the choice to fit with that cultural norm?
I think that's a brilliant question, because I would suggest that culture is essentially set at the top of an organization. And I think that culture is then infused into the organization, cascades down through the organization. And where it becomes interesting is, does the culture that I come from and the values that support that culture, is it in conflict or is it in concert with the values and the culture of this organization? Because one of the really big drivers that we have is a need for belonging, I might be prepared in certain circumstances to be in denial of my true self because I want to be accepted in your community. So the price I pay for acceptance in your community might be accepting, tolerating, embracing your culture, even though that's in conflict with my own set of values. But my desire to be accepted and my desire to be in and my anxiety about being left out might override my own set of values and my own set of cultural norms. And I think that happens a great deal.